surface, everything might seem to be fine. You may get a couple headaches here and there. You may start to feel fatigued. And then perhaps you start to get dizzy and you get more and more fatigued and more frequent headaches without any explanation. This might be an indicator that you need to go make an appointment with the doctor. My name is Rachel Kane, and I'm going to be talking to you about anemia. According to the American Society of Hematology, this is one of the most common forms of blood conditions in America, affecting millions across the states. Over the course of my research, I have discovered that it's a very intricate condition and there are a lot of different things that go into it. And on top of that, I am also anemic, which means I know personally the effect that it has on the body and how the symptoms can affect you as well as the side effects. I'm going to start off by talking about what anemia is, the effects that anemia has on the body, and then diagnosis and treatment. Let's begin by talking about what anemia is. This is a condition where there is not enough oxygen in the red blood cells getting to the rest of your body and your organs. There are many different types of anemia and many different forms of anemia, but we're going to be focusing on the two most common. The first is iron deficiency, and this is the condition that I have. I am iron deficient, which means I do not have enough iron in my bone marrow. Not having enough iron in your bone marrow means that you can't produce hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that acts as a carrier in the blood to get the oxygen to the rest of the body. Without that, that means you're not getting enough oxygen. Without iron, you cannot make hemoglobin, which means you do not get enough oxygen. Next, we move on to the second most common form of anemia, and this is vitamin deficiency, specifically B12 and folate, or B9. These two vitamins are used in making healthy red blood cells. Without these two vitamins, you're not able to produce enough red blood cells, which means there's not enough cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. A couple of causes could be the lack of vitamins in your diet, which means you're not eating enough of vegetables or meats that are rich in these two vitamins. But another one could be the inability of your body to process and absorb the vitamins. In the stomach, there's something called the intrinsic factor, which is a protein that allows vitamins to be absorbed through the stomach walls and be used throughout the body. This can cause malabsorption. Next, we're going to move on, after talking about what anemia is, to the symptoms of anemia. What's tricky about this condition is that all of the symptoms that we see here are common, and it can make it a lot harder to identify that there's actually a problem. So you'll experience things such as fatigue, headaches, weakness, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeats, cold hands and feet, and pale or yellowish skin. In my case, I get a green tint to my arms and especially around my mouth when my anemia is getting bad. Another very interesting symptom or side effect of having anemia is a disorder called pica. According to the VEDA, pica is a disorder that makes people crave things that are either non-food or have no nutritional value, such as dirt, sponges, soap, rags, or ice. In my case, this is kind of an embarrassing story. I started craving things especially like dryer sheets, detergent, sponges, and dish rags. And those cravings, they're pretty strong, so I ate a couple of those kind of things. But at the same time, I also started eating ice. At the age of 13, I started eating ice at a daily basis, and up till now, and probably for a long time to come, I'll be eating ice for a daily basis. This seems a lot less crazy than eating perhaps a sponge. Now that we've talked about some of the symptoms of anemia, let's talk about the diagnosis and treatment. After you have gone to the doctor, he's going to perform a physical exam, and then he's going to do a blood test, which is called a CBC test. This is a complete blood count, which means he takes a look at the red blood cells that are within the sample and decides whether or not those are all, that's a common amount, or if you're deficient. Other more extreme cases, they'll do an MRI test to examine the bone marrow and to look at the amount of hemoglobin within those. Due to the deficiency in iron or vitamins, anemia can be helped, or you can keep it under control by changing your diet, making more vitamin-rich or iron-rich foods such as leafy greens, red meats, or fish especially. Doctors will also prescribe supplements, and in the most extreme cases, they will also give B12 or folate shots or blood transfusions, depending on the severity of the condition. And now we come to my conclusion. I've gone over what anemia is, the symptoms that come along with anemia, and diagnosis and treatment of anemia. While this is a relatively common condition, it's not something that can be cured, and if you don't keep on top of it, it can become very dangerous and even life-threatening. Thank you.